Ooh, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy D Wayne bringing you yet another YouTube video at this time. So basically, as you guys can see, Mayakashis have been fully released. We have the confirmed effects of the synchro monsters. We didn't have them before. They were just confirmed today, so I guess it gives us more information to go on. They give us a pretty good idea of how they work. So I believe that's enough to warrant an obvious discussion of the cards. Of course, you guys already know I love me some zombies, so of course I had to cover this deck, of course. So yeah guys, so with that being said, let's get straight into it and talk about the main deck, or rather just go into the overall aesthetics of the deck. Basically what it does is most of these have effects where you can only control one of them, and their effects, the non-tuners effects are obviously once per turn and stuff like that. They have a lot of restrictions and they're all essentially locked to the entire Mayakashi archetype. So that means you can't really do much else with them while they're on the field or after they activated their effects. So yeah, so let's get into the first main deck monster, which is Mayakashi Hajun. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon one Mayakashi monster from your deck, except another one that is another copy of itself. And of course, you can only use this effect once per turn, and it's locked to the archetype. So yeah, this is essentially your starter card. You definitely want to open up with this card in any way possible. Plus, it being a level 1, it is a 1-for-1 target to start your plays off. So essentially, this one card can get your entire synchro scaling going on. Giving you a perfect example, so you can summon this, special summon a level 2 from your deck, synchro into the level 3, the level 2 will special itself back, synchro to level 5, tuner will summon itself again, synchro to level 7. You guys get my point. So yeah, so this is definitely the card you want to open with. This is probably the best card in the deck because it gets your engine started very well. Alright, so that is that. Next we have Mayakashi Daki. Now you can only control one of her, of course, when a Mayakashi monster special summon from your deck to your field. While this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. And it's locked to your archetype because you can't special summon anything else except Mayakashi monsters. So this will be the card you use to do your synchro climbing in conjunction with Hajun, of course. So yeah, this card's pretty good. It's pretty good. It does what it does very well. It's not a hard once per turn, so that is what facilitates your synchro climbing. So yeah, so that's that. So let's talk about Mayakashi Sukahaji. Obviously, you can only control one of him. The Mayakashi, besides him, is destroyed by battle or card effect. You can special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only special summon. Okay, of course, after you do that, you can't special summon except Mayakashi monsters, of course. So this triggers off a destruction, while as Danki triggers off your monsters being special summoned, your Mayakashi monsters being special summoned from the extra deck. So yeah, destruction is not too bad, I guess. Your opponent's destruction, of course, by battle or card effect and stuff like that. I've never liked relying on your opponent to do stuff, and it's just the same thing all over again. So yeah. That's that. Next we have the level 3 Mayakashi Shafu. This card's normal special. You can target one Mayakashi monster in your graveyard except another copy of itself. Special summon it in defense position but negate its effects. You will use the effect of Rickshaw Mayakashi Shafu once per turn, and it is locked to its archetype when you do that. So yeah, so you can set up plays with that. If you have the any of the tuners in the graveyard, you can special summon the tuner with this effect, and you can synchro into a level 5, which is this one, and then you can use the That keys effect again to special summon itself. So it's kind of a shortcut to get to your higher level synchro plays through its effect. So yeah, it's pretty good, of course. And then we have the level 5, which is Mayakashi Yasha. Then discard one other Mayakashi monster to special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn, and it is locked to the Archetype when you do this as well. So it was a nice special summonable monster that you can, go into your higher level synchro plays with combo with your tuners. Of course, you can go into the level 7 and then get to your higher level monsters from there. So you can start off with the level 1s to synchro up, or you can start with the level 5 to synchro into your higher level synchro plays. So it has that little aesthetic going on, so it you have some sort of consistency in your synchro plays. So yes, let's go into the spell Mayakashi Revolt. Take one Mayakashi card from your deck, except another copy itself, and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You only activate one of it per turn, so essentially it searches out the entire archetype. And if you happen to have the level 3 in your hand, you can use this to send the level 2 tuner to the graveyard, normal summon this, and then you can special summon this and go into your single plays from there. So yeah, this is a really good card, definitely a 3 of in the deck. So yes, and last but not least for the main deck, we have Return of Mayakashi. Say normal trap, discard one card, target one of your Mayakashi monsters that is banished, or is in your graveyard, special summon it. If you do, your opponent cannot target it with card effects this turn. Hard once per turn, and you cannot summon anything except Mayakashi. So yeah, this is pretty good during your opponent's turn to special summon one of your Mayakashis from the graveyard or that you have banished to trigger one of their effects during your opponent's turn. But obviously there are better ways to do this besides this. Back to the front, hold on to it, stuff like that can be triggered during your opponent's turn so that you can disrupt some of their plays during their turn. So there is a little bit of interaction with your opponent during their turn. So yeah, so that is it for the main deck cards. Let's talk about the extra deck now. Let's start with the link. Mayakashi Yukiana. This requires 2 Mayakashi monsters. You can only control one of her. Now, while this card points to a synchro monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. The synchro monster is to draw a valid card effect. While this monster is on the field, you can target one face-up monster on the field. Half his attack and defense become half his current attack and defense until the end of his turn. You can only use this effect of her once per turn. So honestly, it's not really all that good, but it's a link monster with link markers pointing down. So that's probably the best you're gonna get out of this. Being protected from attacks, means you can, have your synchro monsters destroyed in order to have them in the graveyard to set up their effects, so on and so forth. So yes, that's honestly what I believe its only purpose serves. So, yeah, that's that. So let's start in with the synchros. We have Mayakashi Orbora Guru. Interesting name. I definitely butchered that, but yeah, all their synchro requirements are generic, and you can only control one of them. So I'll essentially skip all that. So let's get into their effects. So if your synchro monster's original level is 5, it's destroyed by battle or card effect. While this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one other zombie monster from your graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. And in fact, when it's special summoned from your graveyard, you can make your monsters unable to be destroyed by battle this turn. So yeah, so that's definitely a good effect to have during your opponent's turn when your opponent's attacking and you are on the defensive, so you can special summon this and have your monsters protected for the battle for that turn. That's including this, of course. Oh, and it's generic, so it's not exactly zombies or Mayakashi, so whatever other monsters you may have on the field, they're also protected by battle for the turn as well, so that's okay, I guess. But being protected by battle is never the best thing, because there's always the card effects. Maybe if it had card effects, it would have made this card just a little bit more viable. but it's only battle, so it's not as good as it should be. So yeah, so let's get into the level 5 one. So let's get the first two effects. Basically, it's all relative to what level Synchro proceeded it is destroyed the lateral card effect. You can special summon them. So let's speak about his unique effect, which is if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can have each player send the top 3 cards from your deck to the graveyard. Now I actually see some potential with this card because you can actually combo this with Soul Absorbing Bone Tower to get some melee action going on. You can actually use this card to make a mill deck to mill out your opponent's resources and stuff like that. Whilst this will mill, and then you have one and maybe multiple Soul Absorbing Bone Towers milling your opponent's deck as well. So I see this card having some potential in that variant of a deck as well, since the materials are generic, so you can summon this out without any problems. So yeah, so that's that. So let's speak on the level 7 with its unique effect. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can target one spawn trap card your opponent controls and destroy it. Oh, matter of fact, there is no targeting, so you just destroy one spawn trap card your opponent controls, which isn't half bad, I guess, because it doesn't target, so the opponent has to activate prior to this card designating what target of a card it wants to destroy. But that's not even all that good nowadays anyway, because you have too many spells and trap effects that have effects that activate in the graveyard or when sent to the graveyard, or can activate in graveyard by banishing it and doing other things, so on and so forth. So it could have been better, honestly, if it banished the card without targeting it. Then we would be speaking about having a real discussion about this card. Or if it targeted multiple spells or traps for destruction, then it would have been a whole lot better of a card. But yeah, it's only one card, so it's mediocre at best. So yeah, let's go on to the level 9, which is Mayakashi Yuko. Its unique effect is when it's special summoned from the graveyard, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls. Once again, it's non-targeting removal, which is pretty good, of course. But once again, too many monsters activate in the graveyard or can banish themselves to activate effect while in graveyard. So once again, it's still mediocre at best. So yeah, then last but not least, for the extra deck, we have the level 11 that was revealed. So basically, this card revolves around having your Link monster destroyed in order to get its effect to special summon itself from the graveyard, which is definitely a different dynamic because you can't go any further with it, so they use the Link monster instead. And then its unique ability, when it's special in the graveyard, you can have this face-up card unaffected by card's effects for the turn. So I guess it's okay. It's only itself. Maybe if there was a blanket effect that allowed your other cards to be unaffected by stuff, it would have definitely been a better card, but it only targets itself, so it's not really that good. So honestly, overall thoughts on this, it definitely could have been a whole lot better, especially if their effects are essentially all locked to the entire archetype. They should have done more with the effects if they're going to lock it to the entire archetype. Basically, all of these cards should have had effects on field instead of effects that activate when you special summon from the graveyard. If just to give them some better presence on field, instead of just effects that special summon and you only get that one time, and you can only control one of these. So if your field is blown up, Archetype, Dark Hole, so on and so forth, you really don't have too many comeback plays with this deck as a pure variant. So of course, what you guys see on my side deck are other options to kind of bolster the deck and give it some more oomph, because once again, as with Vendreads and Shinoids and stuff, this deck cannot function on its own. Once again, Konami did this again where they build yet another zombie archetype that can't function on its own. Even as a pure variant, you can't do much. It's essentially a one-trick pony that allows you to just synchro climb. That's all the deck does. It's synchro climb, and you have to, add other generic cards that allow you to special summon your synchro monsters, to the field, because their effects, while good, it's just, it doesn't help them enough. So you have to have cards like Book of Life, and Hold It On to Soul Charge, Monster Reborn, and stuff like that in order to get any real use out of the synchro's effects. So you need more stuff going on with this deck besides what it has at its base. So of course, Spectral Sword probably being one of the best options in deck, because it can interact with literally any non-tuner monster in this deck in order to, bolster your synchro plays and give you, better opportunities and better and more opportunities to synchro summon. Besides do the level 1's effect to get one from the deck to synchro from there. So if this gets stopped in any way, you don't really have any recovery plays after that. So what do after this gets stopped? Because this definitely gets stopped by Veilers or getting Ghost Dashed and stuff like that. So this can also get stopped by Ghost Spell. It can stop it from being special summoned from the graveyard. Or you can freaking DD Crow it, or you can call by grave it, banish it, negate its effect, and you don't get anything after that. So, this deck has a lot of weaknesses and a lot of things that can stop it. So, once again, getting back to Spectral Sword and being able and having that interaction. So obviously you run, Spectral Sword could interact with the level 1 to summon the level 3. It can interact with the level 3 to summon the level 5, so on and so forth, to be able to interact and get more synchros onto the field. So obviously Solitaire, of course, can summon the Denki from the deck, since it is a zombie with 0 defense. So that would be a good choice to summon as well to use. Smith would definitely be a better version of Origuma, because you can just flat out banish this to protect your zombies from being destroyed by battle, and obviously banishing it with Spirit Master can protect your zombies. Spirit Master, of course, since these synchros actually banish to special summon themselves, so you can banish the Spirit Master to pop while special summoning, so on and so forth. They do have the interaction with Shirinois to trigger banished effects, of course, which makes it a pretty good, decent interaction to pop on the cards, battle, and special summon another Shirinui from your banished pile. So you also have Vampire Sucker, which is a good option to have. If you don't want to necessarily summon this, you have this as another Link 2 option, which requires only 2 zombie monsters, of course. And you can also use Vendreads with this, because Vendreads do not hinder the deck's ability to function, because it can essentially work on its own, because Vendreads don't work from the extra deck, it's more main deck specific, so you can definitely use Vendreads in this to work with it as well. So other synchro options, of course, you can run the even number synchro monsters to give you more options to summon off of Spectral Sword's effect, and Solitaire's effect to give you in level 8 synchro to summon, so on and so forth. You guys know how that works. So Spectral can give you odd and even number zombie synchros, since we have more options to summon now, which is that's really solid. It gives it, that synchro zombie thing a real good boost, so you have more options to summon off this effect. So also Ailblood can be good tech in deck, as it can special summon your synchros from the graveyard when second summoned. And it's not that difficult to set up, of course. You guys know how zombie works and getting things to the graveyard. It's not that difficult. So we also have the generic zombie cards from the zombie structure deck that is slated to be released pretty soon. I honestly can't wait to see what the rest of the cards reveal. and the level 7 synchro we're going to get out of that as well. So yeah, so let's talk about them. So if we're running a zombie world build, this would be good to, banish from the graveyard to add a zombie monster to your field, or from the hand, which is really good, and it also protects, while on field, it protects your zombie from being destroyed or targeted by a card effects. So yeah, and then we have this Spirit King, which can special summon itself during the standby phase when you have, what is it? Effects. These effects. Standby phase, physical. Alright, so if you have, obviously if you have zombie world in the field, during each of the standby phases you can special summon this card. And coupled with having Sucker on the field, you can essentially get draws every turn. And it also can interact with Spirit Master, of course, to go straight into a level 10 Synchro, Sun Saga, of course. And also, while having this in the field, when you activate your zombie's effects, you can tribute both his two effects. You can negate whatever effect of a zombie monster is being activated, or you can banish one monster from the field or the graveyard, which is really solid as well. So you will have multiple zombies effects activating in any given turn, so this card's effect will most likely be live most of the time. So yeah, so now we have the last sort of tech you can put in the card, which is a Zombie Necromise, which is also one of the new cards. If a level 5 or higher zombie monster is on your field, target one monster you controls, take control of it until the end phase, so you have your change of hearts, which is solid. This card in your graveyard is, while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish, shuffle one banished zombie into the deck to reset this card. So, and this card is banished when it leaves the field, of course. So, essentially in the Mayakashi build, you can special summon Yasha, which is a level 5 monster. Trigger this effect to take control of one of your opponent's monsters. It doesn't indicate face up or face down, so you can take control of a face down monster. So that's a really good interaction there, which will help, bolster the effectiveness of the deck in general. So yeah, guys, overall thoughts, if you want to play pure, you're not really going to get too much out of the deck besides its ability to synchro climb. So very likely you would have to, add certain things to the deck in order to get it to really function and have a really good boost and playability, so that you can really play the deck to a better standard than what it is in its purest form. So yeah, guys, so that's basically it on my thoughts on the Mayakashi Archetype. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will leave that at that. So if I'll be bringing you guys more videos in the meantime, but until then, pieces, YouTube.